the enchanting island of Sri Lanka, where climate extremes have created a staggering diversity of life. While drought grips one side of the island, torrential rain inundates the other. Steaming jungles conceal a profusion of unusual animals. Just a stone's throw away, others struggle to beat the heat. And giants gather in numbers seen nowhere else in Asia. This tropical wonderland is full of surprises, all woven together in an exceptional, remarkable web of life. It's September in Sri Lanka. The monsoon winds blow in from the southwest, heavy with moisture, striking the land, giving up their rain. But the riches of monsoon season are not shared equally. One side of the country is drenched in life-giving water. But only 100 kilometers away, the other is parched. This unique division of bounty actually creates something special. Within this small island, contrasting habitats sit side by side. Wildly different conditions offer huge opportunities to those ready to exploit them. This adult female Asian elephant is nearly 30 years old. She's leading her group to one of their daily water stops. With her is her precious 4-month-old female calf. African elephant herds follow a matriarch, usually the oldest, most experienced female. Asian elephant groups are less rigid. Younger females at their reproductive peak tend to lead the others. Families are close-knit, cousins and aunts all hanging out together. In the dry season, this is one of only a handful of places they can find water. This elephant family's home is Yala National Park in Sri Lanka's southeast. Mountainous highlands shield Yala from prevailing winds, blocking the path of rain clouds. The result is a long, dry season that shapes the lives of the creatures that call it home. At this time of year, each adult needs over 200 liters of water a day. So drinking is a serious business. Mother and aunt are focused on the task, but the calf just wants to play. And when she tires of that game, she zeroes in on her more earnest cousin. He has no time for attention-seeking babies, and quickly puts her in her place. Thirst satisfied, it's time for the family to continue its non-stop search for food. But someone's not quite ready to admit defeat. You can get away with a lot when you're small and cute. The adults need to browse over 150 kilograms of vegetation every day. The calf is dependent on her mother's rich milk. Asian elephant calves grow very quickly until the age of 5. So she'll be suckling from her mother for the next 2 years. At the same time, she'll slowly learn how to feed herself. It's their close bond with family that helps baby elephants survive the dry season. But there are other newborns in Yala that must face the drought on their own. Hidden beneath a rock is a clutch of eggs. But no bird laid these. Soft, paper-like shells reveal these are reptile eggs. The dry season's taken its toll. The clutch has shriveled up. But there is one small sign of life. A tiny spectacled cobra. This is her first glimpse of this brave new world. After more than 60 days curled up inside, she needs to stretch. A satisfying yawn aligns her delicate new jaws. Thin as a pencil and twice as long. She's all alone. Most snakes are independent from birth. But her absent mother did at least leave her a gift. Inside her egg was a yolk sac, her first meal. It's given her a vital start in life, but it won't last long. If she's to make it, she'll need to find another meal, and soon. In the dry season, many animals on the ground must put considerable effort into the search for food. But in the trees high above, there are no such difficulties. The dry season is when the banyan trees burst into full, fruiting glory. A member of the fig family, its bright red fruits attract birds from all over Yala. Near the fruiting tree, a colony of Indian flying foxes is roosting. They've entered a partnership with the banyan that will profit both in Yala's dry climate. A wingspan of 1.5 meters makes them one of the largest bats in the world. They play a vital role in dispersing not only the seeds of the banyan, but over 300 other species as well. Their huge size allows them to fly over 15 kilometers, spreading seeds much further. They're nocturnal, so they spend the day trying to get some shut-eye. There's very little shade, and each one of them is covered with a layer of fur. So, to beat the heat, they flap their wings to keep their temperature under control. The bats have clawed feet and a hooked nail on the end of their wing digit that allows them to hang upside down for hours, using very little energy. But these claws have another use: self-defense. Many females have their young with them, not yet weaned and held protectively close. In the heat, tempers are fraying. This female has managed to find a spot with a bit of shade. She's not going to give it up easily. The hooks double up as a useful weapon. By 4 p.m., the day begins to cool. Tension in the colony dissipates. The bats ready themselves for a night of foraging. A day squabbling in the heat has worked up their appetites. They stretch their huge wings as they prepare for their nightly marathon. Unlike smaller bats that rely on echolocation, flying foxes use their excellent eyesight and a keen sense of smell to find the banyan figs. Like a flying, furry juicer, they'll slurp up the fruit's liquid. But they spit out the pulp and the seeds, dispersing them far and wide, unwittingly providing the banyan trees with a free aerial relocation service. At this time of year, it's not only Yala that is in full grip of drought. 200 kilometers to the north, the wilderness of Mineria National Park has seen no rain for 5 months. Like Yala, it should be wilting into heat. The southwest monsoon doesn't reach this far. But it has an ancient feature that beats the dry season. At Mineria's heart is a huge reservoir, built as part of an ancient irrigation system nearly 2,000 years ago. It's one of the last places in the central region of Sri Lanka that still has abundant water. This precious resource plays host to one of nature's great spectacles: the world's largest gathering of Asian elephants. More than 300 giants congregate here at this time of year. Among them is a family that has traveled over 80 kilometers to get here. They're not just here for a drink. The receding lake exposes rich mudflats, fertile ground for the juicy new shoots the family depends on. It's also a chance for the elephants to catch up with distant relatives. They renew long-lasting bonds. But for one member of the family, this trip is more about making new friends. This young bull is 10 years old, on the cusp of adulthood. He's lived with his mother and aunts all his life, but as he matures, it's time for him to leave his family herd. It's a daunting prospect, but will prevent him from mating with his sisters and cousins. He's already spending more time with an all-male bachelor group. He is at the bottom of the pecking order, so he must find his place. And for male elephants, this means he must fight. There are lots of other teenagers here, eager to flex their muscles and prove their worth. The young male begins a new and uncertain chapter in his life. It's the dry season in Manaria, but only 180 kilometers to the southwest, it's a different world. These are the forests of Sinaraja. While one side of Sri Lanka languishes in drought, Sinaraja sits directly in the path of the southwest monsoon rains. At this time of year, it can rain for 12 hours a day, creating a rainforest, home to a staggering diversity of life. The intense rainfall creates a dense forest canopy that monopolizes the light. The floor is in deep shade. Not the kind of place you'd expect to find sun worshippers. But chinks of light do make it down here. And this bronze-backed tree snake depends on them. He's over 60 centimeters long, but very thin, so he can bask on the ribs of delicate ferns. He's making the most of what little light he can find. He needs to charge up his body with energy-giving warmth. By splaying out his ribs, every last millimeter of his body can make use of the sun. When his body temperature reaches 32 degrees, he's ready to slither off to find a meal. The break in the rain isn't just welcomed by the reptiles. It's also just what the butterflies have been waiting for. This exotic forest boasts 124 species, many found nowhere else on Earth. The smallest are no bigger than a thumbnail, the largest the size of a hand. The plain butterfly uses its proboscis like a straw to sip sugary nectar from deep within. But things aren't so easy for this large blue Mormon. It's one of the biggest butterflies in Sri Lanka, with a wingspan of 15 centimeters. It's far too heavy to simply rest on the flower, so it must flap its wings constantly while trying to feed. A male tree nymph joins the floating assembly, but he's focused on something other than food. He only has a few days to live. His sole purpose now is to find a mate and pass on his genes. He is frantically searching for something special. And he's found it. A cocoon. He tastes it repeatedly with his proboscis. He finally detects what he's been looking for. The pheromones of a female tree nymph. She'll be ready to mate as soon as she emerges. He carries on his patrol, but he won't fly far. Within the hour, the female has emerged, and she's ready to take flight. Like an aerial ballet, the male tracks her every move. They both release pheromones, signaling their willingness to mate. But mating while airborne is a tricky maneuver. He holds out hairy appendages at the base of his abdomen and then makes several tentative approaches, before finally making a connection. It's a brief moment, but he manages to transfer his sperm. It's his final act. He's very weak and won't survive the day. But at least his persistence has ensured the next generation will carry his genes. A 120 kilometers to the east, back in Yala, the dry season sun is at its zenith. The heat is intense, a sweltering 32 degrees. Even a sun worshipper like the crocodiles had enough. He can slide into the water for respite. A wild boar puts up with the blazing sun, but only so he can get an overhaul from the local cleaning service. Under their tree, a group of grey langurs patiently sits it out. These social monkeys spend most of their day on the move in the search for food. But to save energy, they'll wait until the cooler afternoon before venturing from the shade. The adults try to catch 40 winks, but the newest members of the troop quickly become bored. 3-month-old youngsters have heat-defying energy levels. There's one family in Yala that cannot afford the luxury of a snooze. The elephants must keep foraging, no matter how hot it gets. It's the only way they can meet their daily target of 150 kilos of vegetation. But even elephants need to stop eating to find a drink. Yala is studded with small water holes, a lifeline in the dry season. The nearest is hidden among the rocks. Not ideal terrain for a baby elephant unsure on her feet. The baby's trunk just isn't quite long enough to reach the water. So the family is forced to take her into the shallows. There's a reason why the adults are wary. The oldest of the female elephants has been coming here for the last 30 years, and she knows this place is home to an old mugger crocodile. Male crocs can grow up to nearly 5 meters. They're quite capable of snatching an unprotected elephant calf. The adults know the mugger's in here somewhere, but it's hard to see beneath the carpet of floating plants. The croc can move in water less than 60 centimeters deep, so nowhere's safe. The elephants use their size to intimidate. The mugger gets the message. He won't risk being stamped on by a 3-ton angry elephant. Now the family can drink safely, and the youngster resumes her favorite activity. Antagonizing her long-suffering cousin. The group doesn't linger long, all too aware that the croc could return to spoil the party. Unseen by the elephant giants, the tiny cobra hides in the undergrowth. She needs to find food. The energy provided by her yolk sac has kept her going until now, but time is fast running out. She must venture into the big wide world, but it's full of dangers. She already packs enough venom to kill a dozen men. But her teeth are still tiny, too small to put off predators. Instead, she must use bluff. At the smallest tremor, she rears up. Spreading her hood gives the illusion of size. and it reveals her distinctive markings. They resemble a set of eyes, a warning to creatures creeping up from behind. For now, she decides that keeping a low profile is the best strategy. But if she's to find a meal before she runs out of energy, she'll have to make a move soon. In the canopy above is a creature far less concerned about attracting attention. A Sri Lankan grizzled giant squirrel is foraging for food. He's been active since before dawn, packing in the calories before it gets too hot to move. He's enormous. From nose to tail, he's nearly a meter long. And he's almost totally arboreal, rarely venturing to the ground. His lifestyle is reflected in his body. Half of his length is tail. It's used as a counterbalance as he moves through the canopy. The giant squirrel only lives in Sri Lanka, cut off from its relatives in India by rising sea levels when the climate changed 10,000 years ago. Impressive size is not the only thing giant squirrels are known for. They're also fond of long siestas. He'll spend a third of the day snoozing in the breeze, saving his energy for an evening forage in the canopy. In Munaria National Park, the elephant gathering is at peak numbers. It won't be long before the rains start, and the herds will go their separate ways. It's crunch time for the 10-year-old male. He must find his place in a bachelor herd before his family leaves the park. But joining a new gang is not straightforward. Each bachelor group has its own hierarchy, and he must figure out how to fit in. A young bull with distinctive pink ear markings squares up to him. To establish dominance, each tries to lay his trunk on top of the other's head. Pink Ears gets an early advantage, but the young bull parries. The two size each other up. The young bull tries a tentative charge, but it sparks Pink Ears to go on the offensive. The 10-year-old backs off. He's happy to concede this fight. But Pink Ears wants to make sure he's made his point. Forced to fight again, the young male seems to find courage. Pink Ears is overly confident, a weakness that the newcomer can exploit. This time the youngster manages to get his trunk firmly on his opponent's head. It's his first small victory, and it's earned him a place in this bachelor herd. The young elephant has finally gained the recognition of his peers. But over in the rainforest, success often depends on keeping a low profile. The trees are crawling with mini predators. This is a weaver ant nest. Thousands of individuals make up this colony, constructed from leaves bound by silk. It's the headquarters of a territory that spreads over the entire canopy of this tree. They're voracious predators with sharp pincers, so most creatures here give them a wide berth. But this one's on a solo mission. Except there's something not quite right. She's all legs, 8 of them. And there's a telltale silky dragline. Huge binocular front-facing eyes give the game away. It's a jumping spider, cunningly disguised as an ant. The 2 black spots at the side of her head look like ants' eyes. But they're just marks, designed to deceive. What look like ant antennae are actually her front legs. And those sharp-looking ant mandibles are her palps, used to sense the world around her. It's a clever pretense to keep at bay hunters who know the damage a weaver ant's bite can inflict. But it doesn't fool everyone. This real weaver ant spots the intruder instantly. Ants recognize one another by pheromones, chemical signals they release. The spider doesn't have that chemical ID. She starts a deadly game of hide-and-seek. The female spider is now potential prey. The ant's mandibles are real and dangerous. If it catches her, it'll kill her. Cornered, she has nowhere else to go. Time to act like a real spider and make a sneaky exit. Mimicking a similar-looking creature is a neat trick. But there's one forest dweller that takes disguise to another level. In the canopy, birds are always on the lookout for a high-protein snack. So there's extra reason to keep a low profile. As a gust of wind blows through the trees, one of the leaves is dancing to a different tune. That's because this isn't a leaf at all. It's a female leaf insect. Her mimicry is masterful, replicating vein patterns and patches of fungus. And she even incorporates nature's imperfections. Simulated bite marks look as though she's been nibbled on. Her camouflage, combined with her cryptic dance, allows her to hide in plain sight. She can graze the forest canopy in complete safety. Back in the dry forests of Yala, the baby cobra is now a week old. She's running on empty. The energy from her yolk sac is spent. She must find a meal or die trying. A baby dwarf toad would be perfect. Its short legs are made for walking, so it can't easily leap away. The cobra's forked tongue can pick up tiny airborne particles, helping her track down potential prey. The fork pinpoints direction, left or right. And she's detected the toad. She knows it's close. If the toad keeps still, he won't be spotted. The cobra's eyesight is good, but only if her prey moves. The toad has another trick up its sleeve. It subtly changes color to match its surroundings. Barely visible against a rotten branch, it seems to have found the perfect hiding place. But the little cobra can still sense it's near. The toad blinks first, and the cobra's new teeth strike home. The cobra pumps in her deadly venom. Before releasing her prize. But it won't get far. As the venom courses through the toad's little body, paralysis sets in. She's so hungry, she doesn't wait until the toad is dead. It's a huge mouthful for such a tiny predator, but her flexible jaws help her swallow the toad whole. Her persistence has paid off just in time. She won't need to eat for at least another week. As the clouds roll over Yala, there's another youngster with a full belly. The little elephant calf is well fed on her mother's milk and full of beans. She and her family meet up with another small herd. They too have a boisterous youngster in tow. and the little calf can't believe her luck. She now has someone closer to her own size to play with. And she's happy to let her new friend walk all over her. For these two, it's not just about livening up an ordinary day. Play is essential because it helps establish a bond that will last a lifetime. With so few families in Yara, these two young elephants may well become the foundation of the park's elephant herds long into the future. As September draws to a close, there's a change in the air. The wind switches direction, shifting 180 degrees, bringing with it moist air and the promise of rain. The animals of this tropical island have risen to the challenges of the season. They've faced the trials of growing up, overcome enemies, and learned to fend for themselves. And some have been blissfully oblivious to the struggles going on all around them. But all, in their own way, have been part of an entrancing web of life on the island of the Monsoon.